For this discussion, I was assigned to cover the Venezuelan crisis, an ongoing political and socioeconomic dispute within the country that started mainly because of the 2014 oil price crash. This affected Venezuela heavily because their economy was dependent on oil exports due to policies set in place by their former president and current president, Nicolas Maduro. Overall, throughout this crisis, Venezuela's economy has collapsed, and President Maduro has gained complete control over the government through compromised elections, changing laws for his gain, and dismantling aspects of Venezuelans' democratic practices in favor of authoritarian rule. In this conflict, President Maduro and his leading government officials are the dominant group, with the rest of the Venezuelan population being subject to their rule being the subordinate group. These groups are separated on a base of power and control in the country. This separation is also true when talking about the social stratification present in Venezuela. A majority of the country's population is considered to be living in poverty, with nearly 52% in extreme poverty. These distinctions between socioeconomic classes have blurred between the middle and lower class, and that is just due to this economic crisis. And what's left today is a mass majority being in lower class and being economically not good in their country. And only a small percentage of citizens make up the upper class and are often government supporters who still have a hold in the economy. The differences between classes in Venezuela is primarily a closed system, with those who live in poverty having little to no chance to climb the socioeconomic ladder due to this oppression that they all have faced. This closed system in the economy and social structures of Venezuela have caused the intergroup interactions in the country to basically cease to exist in no other way other than violence. They all just interact in violent protests. There's a higher crime rate. Just many negative things are impacting their society right now. Much of the upper class does not even acknowledge the economic crisis that the country is currently experiencing because they're not exposed to it directly, and they're not seeing how poor citizens are living and in these dangerous conditions. And that is mainly due to the government practices that have been put into place to silence any forms of oppression or discontent with the government in Venezuela. This conflict has led to a lot of violations of human rights of many Venezuelan citizens. Primary violations from the government has been violating their right to equality, education, work, a fair trial by law, freedom from torture, freedom from an arbitrary arrest or seizing of property, freedom of opinion and expression, and even rights to standards of living. All of this has been done by the government as an effort to silence those who speak out against the government or president in general, and it has been a result of the economic downfall of the country. Currently, the MPI standards in Venezuela outlined roughly 53% of the population is living below the poverty line and in extreme poverty, as I mentioned before. Many of these citizens do not have access to proper housing, proper food for families, proper clean water, or even clothing. As of now, many social movements are trying to help the country and trying to help the people. And a lot of them are trying to help Venezuelan immigrants as well, who are currently leaving the country because they do not want to have to deal with the political and economic warfare that is happening. The Hope Without Borders program, run by World Vision, aims to help children get access to proper education and better living conditions. Another organization is known as Disaster Philanthropy, and they have outlined multiple response plans in 2024 and 2025 to help advocate and help these Venezuelan citizens to take action to protect their human rights. These movements are examples of global, non-governmental organizations taking action to help a group of people in need. Many of these movements classify as reform or resistance against conditions that the Venezuelan citizens are subjected to under their political rule and the economic situation that they're in. They are trying to help these people get out of their situations, and based on what I have read and seen from these articles that I have read about the political situation that they're going through, I hope that these organizations can continue to help and aid all the citizens of Venezuela, because they do not deserve the economic discourse that they have to go through right now.